Introducing Mackenzie Shirilla, a 17-year-old found guilty of murder for causing a car crash that tragically took the lives of her boyfriend and his friend.
Mackenzie decided death was the ultimate goal that day. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
Her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and his friend, Davin Flanagan, were passengers when she crashed into a commercial building outside of Cleveland at 100 miles per hour. Sadly, both men died at the scene, while Mackenzie survived. Prosecutors argued that Mackenzie had a toxic relationship with her boyfriend and had made violent threats.
Threatened his property? She threatened to break into his house?
Correct.
Including threats to his property and even breaking into his house. Allegedly, she intentionally crashed her car to kill her boyfriend, with his friend becoming an unintended victim. The evidence, including surveillance footage, strongly suggested her intent.
You see her driving very calmly and making the right turn, and then all evidence indicates she immediately put the pedal to the metal and drove straight into a building at 100 miles per hour. I think those really demonstrated to us that this was no accident.
Days before the crash, she reportedly scoped out the same route, indicating premeditation. The judge now pronounces her guilty on both counts of murder.
Count 1. Finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo.
As she's handcuffed, Mackenzie tearfully awaits her sentencing.
Count 2. Finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit Davin Flanagan.
She expresses deep remorse, denying intentionality.
The families of Dom and Davia, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken.
There was no medical condition that caused this as an accident. There was no mechanical failure of the car. A failed suicide attempt is not a defense to murder. There's a very good likelihood, Mackenzie, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison. She's sentenced on count 1, 15 years to life. Count 2, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to each other.
But the judge remains unconvinced. There's no medical or mechanical explanation for the crash. Mackenzie faces the grim prospect of spending her life in prison. In another case, Aiden Fuji has pleaded guilty. Aiden Fuji is in court for the murder of his classmate when he was only 14 years old.
We're having fun in a cop car.
Yep.
Fuji and the victim, a 13-year-old girl from Patriot Oaks Academy in St. Johns County, Florida, were classmates. Fuji brutally stabbed her 114 times, and her body was later found in the woods. After his arrest, Fuji was captured in the back of a cop car taking Snapchats. During the interrogation, Fuji and his parents are confronted about the foolishness of the Snapchat video.
The Snapchat you did is not very smart.
You're all over the internet everywhere. This is serious.
It's very serious.
This isn't no joke. This is your whole life. Your whole life.
And ours.
And ours.
Prosecutors presented evidence, including footage of Fuji and the girl walking together before her murder. About 90 minutes later, Fuji is seen allegedly fleeing from the area where her body was discovered.
114 stab wounds, 49 defensive wounds, 35 wounds to the head and neck, 29 to the back and shoulder, and 6 fatal wounds.
Fuji pleads guilty to first-degree murder, and the judge delivers the sentence.
Having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I sentence you to life in prison. Because of your age, you are eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years.
Upon hearing his sentence, Fuji remains motionless. Meet Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, both just 16 years old, facing charges for the murder of their high school Spanish teacher. Allegedly, it stemmed from a bad grade Miller received from the WASM.
We then moved her off of the trail, where I then struck her, and she died as a result.
Teacher, Noima Graber. Graber, a Spanish teacher at Fairfield High School in southeastern Iowa, was targeted by Miller and Goodale after the bad grade. They hatched a plan to kill her and then lured her off the trail.
We discussed kind of a plan. I'll stand up here, look out, wait for Miss Graber to show up.
During one of her walks in Shadowwalker City Park. As Graber walked by, they ambushed her, striking her in the head multiple times with a baseball bat until she died.
Here she comes, and she walked by, hit her in the back of the head, and then I said, we should make sure she's dead, so we hit her a couple more times.
They dragged her body into the woods, intending to hide it.
save the body. At that time, we were going to hide the body. I guess in our arrogance, kind of assumed that nobody would ever find her.
Following their arrest, Snapchat messages surfaced implicating them in the murder. Goodale eventually pleaded guilty and testified against Miller, admitting their intent to kill Graber.
I understood that he had the intent to kill Mrs. Graber.
What is your plea to murder in the first degree, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
At his sentencing, Goodale expressed remorse, wishing he could turn back time to prevent the tragedy.
I've had time to think on what to say, and I'm sorry, truly sorry. Every day I wish I could go back and stop myself. I can't comprehend losing a loved one in such an awful way.
The judge sentenced both boys to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years for Goodale and 35 years for Miller.
The defendants shall be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years.
Miller apologized for his role in the murder, expressing deep regret and pleading for a chance to rehabilitate.
I'd like to take this opportunity to wholeheartedly accept responsibility for the role that I've played in the murder of Human Graber. To the family, I'm sincerely sorry for the distress that I've caused you and the devastation. And I ask that I'm given a chance, and I don't want to be institutionalized. I don't want to be in so long that I forget about what matters, where I come from, and I look forward to getting through this.
And now the judge has some final last words.
The defendant, Willard Noble Chaden Miller, should be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 35 years.
This concludes the sentencing for Willard Miller. Meet Rachel Cha and Sheila Eddy, both in court for the murder of their friend when they were only 16 years old.
Their scheme was to hide knives on their bodies and to attack Skylar at an agreed-upon moment.
Their plan was to conceal knives and attack Skylar at an agreed-upon moment in Star City, West Virginia. Cha, Eddy, and Skylar were all friends until Cha and Eddy decided they didn't like Skylar anymore and plotted to kill her.
Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf carried out that plan. Together they stabbed and killed Skylar.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if there's a proper way to make this apology because there are not even words to describe the guilt and remorse that I feel each day for what I've done. I hurt the Neese family and those who love Skylar. I hurt my parents and shamed my family. May God bring eternal peace to Skylar and the entire Neese family.
With a plea deal secured, the judge sentenced Cha to 30 years in prison.
Rachel Schoaf, it is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for a period of 30 years.
With the possibility of parole in 10 years. As for Eddy,
it is the sentence of the court that you be imprisoned in the West Virginia State Penitentiary for the rest of your natural life. That sentence is technically with mercy, which makes you eligible for parole after you have served 15 years.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, remember to click the like button and subscribe for more content.